Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Make sure you check out, hit that link tree, get to that Cash App link, and jerichogreen.net. So, you may or may not have heard about a story that went down actually probably a week ago or more in Chicago, and I'll put a link in the description box to an article, but so you can see the footage. There was a mother and son who pulled up to a hot dog stand in Chicago. I know, Chicago, so you know how it's going to end. It's America's shooting range. So a mother and son, a 35-year-old woman and her 14-year-old son, they pull up to a hot dog stand in Chicago. The son stays in the car. The mother goes inside to pick up their order. She gets to arguing with this guy who turns out to be a 32-year-old. And the video starts with him telling her, "Get your food, get your food." Tells her 2 or 3 times to get her food. And he says, "I swear to God," or "I put that on my mom," or some shit. "If you say one more thing, I'm going to knock you out." So, of course, the woman, not taking him seriously or thinking, I could say whatever the fuck I want like anybody else would. She keeps talking, and dude, you could see him, his body language changing, his feet, his stance changes. He balls up his fist. He's getting ready to punch. She keeps talking. Boom, he hits her. She falls in the corner. Boom, boom. Hits her 2 more times. So she texts her son to come in the restaurant. I don't know if someone's hitting me or come in here, whatever. She texts him and summons him to the inside of the hot dog joint. Judging by the footage, it looks like he hit her once. That's when she texts her son. He comes in. He's standing in the doorway. He's wearing a hoodie and shorts. He has his hand inside of his sweatshirt pocket. And you see the kid. You see him get frantic and pull the gun out. So the guy must have hit her the 2 more times right in front of him. I'm assuming that's judging by the footage. But the kid pulls out a gun, chambers around, bang, shoots the guy in the back who assaulted his mother. There's some allegations that he chased the guy who was shot, because once he got shot, he ran out. There's no footage. I haven't seen any footage of the kid chasing after him, but there's rumor that the kid chased after the guy and shot him again. So I'm thinking, like most other people, and the mother was licensed to carry a firearm legally. So like most people, I'm thinking, well, shit, this lady's about to go to prison because contributing to the delinquency of a minor because she called him in there. The kid's about to go away because he shot somebody and killed him. They were both charged with first-degree murder. So I was thinking, man, what an asshole she is to draw her son into harm's way, and throw his life away like that. Well, turns out a couple of days later, the district attorney of Chicago dropped the charges. The mother was originally held on $3 million bond. All of that was dropped, and her son were released from jail. So even though the kid's probably not going to go to prison, I don't know if there's some civil suits that are going to be brought against him or if they're going to file charges later. But as of right now, the charges are dropped. So even though the kid didn't go to prison, his life is still changed because he had to kill somebody. And by all accounts, he's an honor student. He's a good kid. I saw a picture of him. He was wearing like a suit. I don't know if it was a uniform or what, but he's wearing a suit. Seems to be a good kid. Honor student. So I guess he didn't come from that life. He didn't come from the hood. His mother was driving a very nice car, a Lincoln Nautilus. So by all accounts, he came from a good life. So that kid is scarred. It's not like he was brought up in the war zones of those fucking neighborhoods to where he's desensitized to the loss of life. So he had to take somebody's life all because his mother called him in there. This goes back to the whole single moms, especially black single moms in the hood, these kids. And you see it all the time with athletes and entertainers. You hear a lot of them talk about how I felt it was my responsibility to get my family out of the hood. Once I made it, I had to bring up all these people out of the hood. It was my my responsibility. These kids are burdened with saving the family because there's no man there. The man, it's his job to provide for the family. It's his job to bring his family out of poverty, and it's his job to protect that woman. It's not that 14-year-old boy's job to protect his mom. Yeah, I fucking said it. The man was 32. Obviously, he didn't give a fuck because he punched a woman at a hot dog stand over some words. So what do you think he would have done to that 14-year-old boy if he came up in there with no gun? That little boy would have got his ass whooped too. Now, what the mom should have done, apparently she didn't have her own firearm. And that's the question. Where did that boy get the firearm from? Where did he get the gun? Was that his gun? Was that his mom's gun and he was holding it? Was that his mom's gun that she left in the car unsecured and he grabbed it and came in there? That's probably most likely what happened. The mom had the gun in the center console or somewhere where the kid could access it. He grabbed it, came in there and shot that dude. That mother was wrong. It's two left shoes to put that boy in harm's way. The dude didn't knock her out. She took the punches. You see her in the surveillance footage walking outside, and she comes around and she kind of rubs her face or touches her face and then puts her hands down and gets in the car. So really, in all honesty, Mom, you should have took your licks and you should have went out to the car. You should have called the police, because once you go out to the car, even if she would have grabbed her gun and came back, now it's premeditated. You weren't in danger anymore. So she should have took her licks and called the police. That's what she should have done. Best case scenario, she would have had her gun on her, not left in the car with her 14-year-old, because either that was her gun, she left unsecured, or he got a gun some other way. 14-year-old with a gun, usually a bad situation. So, best case scenario, she had her gun on her, because I don't know about you, but if I'm going into Chicago to some neighborhood hot dog stand, I'm gonna be strapped. I'm gonna be carrying. I'm gonna be exercising my Second Amendment right to the fullest. So best case scenario, she had a gun on her. Homeboy assaults her. She pulls her gun and neutralizes the threat herself. But instead, she calls. Why did you call your son in there to protect you? That's not his job. Now, something pops off and he's there. Of course, that's his mom. He's going to jump in there and do what he does. You can't control that. That's the love he has for his mother. But you called him in there. He didn't know what was going on. You called him in there. You put him and that man's their paths on a collision course. That's your fault, lady. Now, should she have been brought up on first-degree murder charges? No, because that's premeditated murder. But is it premeditated when you call somebody? But did she know that the boy was going to bring the gun, or she just brought him in there to defend her with his fist? So I don't know. I don't think she should have been brought up on first-degree murder charges, but she should be punished. Whoever gets punished out of this, it should be her. Because you're the adult, and you called your 14-year-old to defend your honor. That's bullshit. That was dangerous. Now, the guy who hit you, he's a monstrous piece of shit. You don't fucking punch some woman over some bullshit in a hot dog stand. Was it that serious? Did she get the last Frankfurter? Come on. So that dude was an over-emotional piece of shit. He got what he deserved, but it should have been at the hands of her, not her 14-year-old son. So what kind of effect is that going to have on him? What kind of PTSD is he going to deal with because he had to take somebody's life at 14 because his mama called him in there? You tell me. What say you? I'll be perusing the comment section. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.